He's been the Youth Congress chief and then the voice of the party as national spokesperson, defending the party when it faced the heat on Lokpal, Colgate and so many other issues. Now, perhaps that visibility has earned him a position in the Council of Ministers. Manish Tewari is another critical minister. He gets the crucial portfolio of information and broadcasting. He's also joining me tonight. Key man in the new government, and a lot of viewers have been saying we're going to start missing him on Newshour very soon because he's taken over as Information and Broadcasting Minister. Manish Tewari, I do hope that we are wrong and that because you've taken over as INB Minister, we should see more of you and not less of you on television. What should people expect?
I thought, Arnab, after 5 years of having you as my sparring partner, people would have at least got sick of me. And in fact, we go back a long time from the days when, Times Now, was in its trial run stage, in the Mandi House studios.
Yes.
And I was just trying to cut my teeth on television channels. So therefore, we have a legacy together. But I assure you that as and when you require me, I will continue to appear.
Fantastic. It's good of you to hear that. And yes, Manish Tewari, your political career has certainly been on a strong upswing and well-deserved. Many congratulations on the big move as INB Minister. A few straight questions for you tonight. Mr. Tewari, INB Minister in a pre-election season. The government has had a difficult relationship, let me put it this way, with the media. And some people do worry that the new Minister for Information and Broadcasting might want to be tough or high-handed with the media. If Ambika Soni was seen as slightly more lenient with the media, that Manish Tewari would be tougher with the media. Is that a correct assumption?
Well, I think that's an erroneous assumption, Arnab, for the simple reason I think a free media is really the essence of any democracy. So therefore, that is the fundamental maxim that I come from, and that is the starting point of my approach towards the media. But having said that, I think there are issues which are there in the public space, and those issues really have to be resolved by inter-se self-regulation by the media itself. And government's job is to ensure that there is a level playing field, for everybody to operate. And if at all, there is something which goes outside the norms of what is a level playing field, I think then only is there a case for government to intervene or intercede.
That's a good point. You have already said that your ministry's job is not to regulate the media, but to ensure a level playing field for everyone and highlight the policies of the central government. However, there are individuals like Justice Karju, who heads the Press Council of India, who's been calling for a media council. He says self-regulation has failed. Now we can't have self-regulation anymore and we need a different kind of regulation. He talks of a media commission of India. May I ask you directly, Manish Tewari, if you are a believer in self-regulation, in the kind of self-regulation that we have seen under the News Broadcasters Association and the Broadcast Editors Association of TV news channels, would you say you would largely want to stay only with that?
Well, I have had the honor of appearing before Justice Markandeya Karju when he was a judge in the Supreme Court. And Justice Karju has never been known to really mince his words. And it's good to have people, who are outspoken about their convictions in the public space, who are not double-faced, if I can use that expression for the lack of a better one, that, they say one thing in private and another thing in public. So as I said that, there are various views which are out there, but at the end of the day, you have to balance the equities. And my strong fundamental belief, and that has been the policy of my very illustrious predecessor, which I think is the laid down policy of the UPA government, that the role of the Information and Broadcasting Ministry is that of an enabler, is to ensure that the playing field remains level. And yes, if there are transgressions, to the established norms and procedures, then there is a case to come in and see that, things get, or the things are corrected if they don't self-correct.
Manish Tewari, the UPA government has also had a very tenuous relationship with the social media. Now, I know your remit is information and broadcasting, but I'd like to know your views on issues such as, trying to moderate sites like Facebook or Twitter, or responding to what was seen to be, for example, an effective mobilizing campaign by the former Team Anna. How do you view the social media?
Well, I think, Arnab, let me take you back, 7 or 8 centuries, when print came from China and Japan to Europe, and a proliferation of books started off. And at that point in time, the church felt very threatened because their word was gospel and an alternative view, was considered to be blasphemy. And that's how the Inquisition courts emerged. So the point I'm trying to make is that whenever a new medium emerges, it takes a little while, for the equilibrium to settle. People do get unsettled when everybody becomes a broadcaster. At times there are issues of responsibility and restraint. But considering that the media space is really so dynamic, I don't think anybody can really control or regulate social media in that sense of the word. My only take as a lawyer, and this is as a lawyer and not as the Information and Broadcasting Minister, is that, if the freedom of speech and expression, does extend, to the freedom to offend, then I should have a legal remedy against that offense. And unfortunately, because of the privacy issues on social media, at times it becomes difficult for an individual citizen to really exercise that right, if he feels legitimately offended or if he feels affronted.
Well,
suppose if you were to say something to me, you are out there as times now, you are disseminating your views in the public space, you're not behind any veil of anonymity. If I do not like something which you say, I have a legal remedy available. The difficulty with social media at times is that while 95%, 96% or even 98% of it is good, there are people, there are groups who at times take undue advantage of the privacy and the anonymity which the social media provides.
That is a point that you have made earlier as well. But Manish, I appreciate the fact that in your first chat as a minister today for Information and Broadcasting, you stand fully committed to the idea of self-regulation and want to be seen to be promoting it. Now, we'll miss you on Newshour. I'd also like to say at the very end, have a change of policy, Mr. Tewari. Do not restrict only Congress spokespersons to coming on television debates, and don't have ministers only giving set-up press conference Shastri Bhavan. One of the first things you should do is have more people in government, including yourself, continue to come on television.
That's why on my very first day, I am right here with my favorite sparring partner of the evening.
Thank you very much, Manish Tewari. Likewise, I reciprocate that. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Thank you.